Hi dear students. Now today in this video I'll talk about a component of success, a component of high achievers life, a component of the students who do very well in the exam, which is sometimes missed by a lot of students, and that component is called as planning. Now what do we mean by planning and why it is so important? Now can you imagine now today if you start doing a task randomly, what would happen? Random solution, random, you will find you will be doing a lot of overlapping things, a lot of duplicacy of labor, and in the end if you do things and work without planning, the net output reduces. So it's always a good idea to make a plan, and this plan has to have two components. Let me help you here. And I know the audience today who are listening to me today would be at various levels in their medical education structure. Some of you will be first years, some of you will be second years, third years, final years, interns, post interns. So I'll try to give you examples on each phase of life so that you are able to make it in a plan for yourself. Now I would now want you to imagine the macro picture of your life, or the bigger picture of your life, or what do you want to reach in the end. Like for example, you want to become a great doctor. That is a bigger picture for your life, or you can say this is your dream. Now, I reduce it into macro only till the MBBS level. Right? Now, what do you want to do after your MBBS? Now, you want to say, suppose you say, I want to become a specialist in medicine or surgery, radiology, dermatology. Now, this becomes your goal. Okay. Now, once you are there, now you draw the timelines. So this is how your planning is made. You plan is by your dream, your goals, you set them up, then you know that exams would happen at fixed time. This is the time when the exam is happening, and you draw the timelines. And these timelines are of utmost importance for anybody preparing for a national level exam like NEET PG, or an international exam like US medical licensing exam. You need to have timelines in place. That is integral of planning. So once you know your goal, your timelines, then you draw out the resources. That what resources will you be utilizing for this preparation, and how do you intend to spread those resources over the timeline. Now the key is to avoid duplicacy of labor, avoid becoming a collector of resources. Now this is a very frequently seen issue in medical students, is that they would end up collecting the resources. Now what I mean by collecting the resources is that you go to a friend's house, you find them using something, you think, oh, I also need it, and you kind of download it, or you pirate it, or whatever. You kind of accumulate stuff. The key is not what you have accumulated in your room, the key is what you have in your mind and how you think. Now let's take the perspective. Now if I look at all the students who are doing MBBS right now, who are like final year or third years or second year, probably the exam that you will be appearing in India would be next. You know this, by the next 2 years odd, you would be looking at an exam called as NEXT, which is a dual purpose exam, which is going to be a licensing exam as well as your PG entrance exam. So it will be conducted in 2 steps. So first and foremost is, when you're looking at an exam like NEXT, and you know that the timeline for your exam will be end of final year. So you have that time frame in your mind, and you know that now the MBBS graduates would actually get 1 year less than what their seniors were getting, because earlier the NEET exam was happening at the end of internship. But these timelines will be different for somebody who is right now an intern, somebody who is a post intern. You will have to draw your own timelines. Timeline would be drawn by finding out the end point first. What is your end point? Till when do you want to finish your studies and revisions? That is how you do it. Then in marking out your resources, it's a good idea to now understand that the exams like NEXT, or for that matter the new pattern NEET PG exam that was conducted last year, or US medical licensing exam, these are all application based papers. Application based papers, as somebody had asked me this in this channel a few days back. So what do you mean by application? What do you mean by applied aspect? What do you mean by analytic or comprehension paper? Now let me give you an example. Now suppose I ask you a direct question: which of the following is not a branch of internal carotid artery? And I give you 4 choices. Okay, which of the following is not a branch of internal carotid artery? I give you 4 choices. And what happens is, you will solve this question by recall. and this has been a traditional style of asking questions in the past. But today they are not asking these direct recall questions. Now the questions would have more of a clinical stem, where you will have to find out the keywords, then apply what you know and get to the answer. For example, let me give you a question now. A patient comes to you with urinary complaints, and for in purpose of evaluation of this patient, a CT scan was done, and that CT scan is shown to you as a visual in the paper. And the question is, at level of which artery the ascent of the abnormal organ is going to be arrested. Now the question is, now you have to know the urinary condition. You look at the image is a CT scan showing you horseshoe kidney, and then they say at the level of which artery the ascent is arrested. Now kidney forms in the pelvis and then it ascends upwards. So at the level of inferior mesenteric artery, because of the isthmus in the horseshoe kidney, the ascent is arrested. So that is how you now you have to apply to get to the answer called as inferior mesenteric artery. You have to know a little bit about your embryology, your surgery, your radiology, to put it together in the exam. This is called as analytic and comprehension based questions. Now you need to analyze the situation. They will give you a blood gas picture. You have to analyze what is going on. You will have to think about the treatments in the emergency conditions. So why am I telling you all this? Because your goal has to be to build up your understanding level, not your memory. This is a break off from the previous ideas that students have. Often I see a lot of young postgraduates, first year PGs or second year PGs teaching a student about how to make mnemonics. I want you to simply go away from that kind of approach. Mnemonics and all, they don't work in the modern scenario. Mnemonic is a poor quality tool made by somebody who doesn't understand the thing and they're trying to rote learn it. But in the exams like this, you need to understand. So for here onwards, you have to have a broader picture in mind that your goal should be to understand what is going on and build up your understanding, not the memory. You have to listen to understand, not listen to memorize. Okay? Now, how do we do this? What my goal here is, when you make your notes in the classroom, you make notes in the in a flow chart like manner. Instead of writing everything in a a stenographer like manner, you write them in a a flow chart like manner, so that this is how your brain actually thinks. Your mind thinks in this manner, that this is the disease, now this is the treatment, this is the diagnosis. You have to make a flow chart like this when the teacher is teaching. And you will also notice that good teachers always teach in that mechanism only. They teach you the algorithmic approach, especially in things like medicine and physiology. That is understanding. And second tool for understanding is try explaining it to others also. Whenever you explain anything to anybody else, your understanding, if you understand something clearly, then only you can explain to others. So those should be your perspectives in mind. And in all this put together, I would also recommend strongly that discipline would form a big chunk, a big part of your journey here. You have to have landmarks, like every Sunday a lecture is happening, or every Wednesday is happening, or Tuesday is happening, and you have to have those landmarks in mind, that I'll attend a class, follow it up by reading, follow it up by doing a DQB or DAMS question bank. Like, this is our approach, that what we recommend strongly in DAMS. And you would have noticed that why, when we were in the lockdown period, and which is still continuing, why did we select to do live lectures on the app rather than pre-recorded? Because that discipline component comes into place. Now when a live lecture is happening today, I want you to follow the same discipline that you would do in an actual class. You attend the class, you make notes, you follow it up with the question bank, you go to the DQB, finish that chapter, then do a test. Like this. More rhythmic cycles should be done. And in all this put together, you need a planner. Now the planner is, you might have seen that I've shared in a previous video a planner. You can make a similar planner, or you can make a simple planner for yourself also in your room. In that you can make a small landmarks that, I'll lecture schedule. This is the subjects where I'll be doing, attended class, made notes, read once, read twice. Okay, and how many days did you use to read it in the first reading, in the second reading? And then you can actually, have you done the test? How many did you do right? Did you do wrong? And, have you done the question bank? Which chapters, which not? You can make all that in a planner and keep, check marking. Now, if I, again, give you the blueprint again. You decide why, what are you doing and why are you doing it? What is your purpose? What is your why? And you build up a bigger picture in your life. That okay, I want to become a great surgeon. I want to become a neurosurgeon, or I want to do build up your bigger picture. Then you find out your immediate, target. That okay, this is what I want. This is the exam which will help me to reach there. Then you draw the timelines. Then you mark your resources, and then you make a checklist and continue forward with with your check marking what you landmarks that you've done, and in between you keep going back also. How do you go back is I'll explain to you. Whenever you give your test, you will find that in a test, especially in DAMS, whenever we create a test, we make sure that the questions are at a increasing difficulty level, and there are some questions which are they require top level analysis, a top level description. So what will happen is you will not be able to do all the questions in a test, but don't get disheartened. This is not the goal that I don't want you to have a pseudo confidence of doing 100% questions, while in medical science nobody can do 100% right ever. The goal here is that after you've done a paper, you find out what you were doing wrong, then you analyze your weaknesses. And if those weaknesses are there in your notes, you go back to your notes again and then try to do this, again. And you know that, okay, this is my weakness, I plugged it. And in a similar thought process, we do a monthly grand test, which is available on your eMedicos in the test series, in the online test series. You will find in the eMedicos in the test series something called as grand test. A new grand test is added every month, so that you can touch all subjects. Then when you finish your test and you see your analysis, you find out which subjects are your bottom 3 subjects, and then you listen to the video solutions with special emphasis on your bottom 3 subjects. Like if you notice again, I'm always drawing a timeline and planning, but in between I'm always alert to finding what new things are happening, especially if you're a first year student. If you're a first year student, right now you're studying your basic sciences or your anatomy, biochemistry, physiology, but you have to know when you will be appearing for your next exam, the applied anatomy, the applied clinical physiology like lung function test, the spirometry, the acid-base analysis, all those would become much more important than you imagine. And the things like inborn error in metabolism or your genetics will become so important in biochemistry. Those should be your prime targets right now as well, even if you're a first year student. And if you're a second year student, infectious diseases, the core of your infectious disease will be found in this prof. Hematology, oncology, basic would be learned in this prof, and of course pharmacology. These things would form a big chunk, around 10% of the questions would be formed by this 2 profs in your next exam. Then if you're a final year or a third year student, you know that you are looking at very, very important subjects from next perspective, and you know that these are the subjects which will be forming a big chunk of your question paper. Medicine, surgery, obs, gynae, allied subjects like skin, anesthesia, radiology, psychiatry, ENT, ophthalm, pediatrics, and of course PSM. So utilize those time, and my suggestion is always is that if my plan is made synchronous to prof, it always works better. That I'm trying to follow my prof subjects along with my next preparation also, and a bit of preponement also, so that in your junior final you're also finishing your senior final subjects. In your second year you're doing a bit of your third year subjects, so that when the exam happens in the end of final year you are well prepared. I'll show you example of what I mean by planning. In DAMS, when somebody joins us for a pre-foundation course in second prof, nowadays we are teaching them not only their first, second prof subjects, we are also teaching them Ophtha ENT, so that we have more time in their third year. So when they come to us in their third year, not only we teach them third year and fourth year subjects, we also try to third year subjects, we also try to complete a bit of fourth year subjects also, so that we have the advantage when the exam happens at the end of final year, they are already well prepared. That is how we plan. And secondly is the planning also is required in your course selection also. Like suppose if you are a second year student or a third year student, if you've already done your pre-foundation, foundation, what course should you pick up in your final year? Now if you have some subjects, major subjects missing in your, if you could not attend them properly, if you have not done them properly, if you don't feel confident, then you should do a foundation again in your final year also. If you are well confident, you can actually start with test and discussions. And these are the kind of decisions that you have to make by discussions. And every time you do a good discussion, you reach to conclusions and you fine tune your plan. So we all start with a macro picture of life, that what do you want to achieve. Then to achieve that, what is my immediate landmark? You understand that to become a great, kidney transplant surgeon, my first step is to become a MS surgery. So to do that, I need to get a good rank or good score in my NEET PG or my next exam. So becomes my immediate target. Then I draw the timelines that I have to finish my syllabus till here, revision still here, and testing practice as well. So in total, with all your goals, you have to build up your content, your revision strategy should be made up, and you have to constantly develop your exam skill by giving questions in the question bank or in the test series, and you keep working on all aspects in between. And do not forget the value of discipline. Every time you do things in rhythm, in a pattern, you start doing better and better. For example, I would strongly recommend that every morning you get up and go to the eMedicos app and do the daily quiz. There is a daily quiz there every time. So, there are people who do well. And if you look at what they have done in life, you will always find they would have a pattern, they would have a plan in shape. Now, do you have your plan is the question. Now, some of you have written to me and they have asked me to address in this video. So what about people who are aspiring to do USMLE exams? Again, you need to have the planning. When would you write your step 1? How would you do US clinical experience into your resume? How would you bring that? When will you do your research electives? When will you do your clinical electives? And will you do some project in India to add to your resume? And when will you give your step to CS, step to CK? Have you planned everything? Have you looked at your visa issues and have you planned the entire thing? So planning always helps. I believe that anything, if you can somehow anything becomes achievable when you start planning. But if you do not plan, you will be doing repetitive duplicacy of efforts and you will be chasing people. Somebody is doing something, okay, let me do this. Somebody is doing that, let me do this. And what will happen is your net output will reduce. For example, in your school, they must have taught you that if you have multiple small magnets all randomly aligned, the net magnetic field becomes zero. There is no output. You need alignment towards your cause. You need to plan it. Okay, but I don't mean to make your life boring. That is again true. That there has to be a bit of randomness in between thrown in. There has to be a bit of everyday activities thrown in, and those are part and parcel of the things. But people who are in high achievement zone, they always try to target some progress towards their net goal every day of their life. And if you can somehow build it up, you will be able to build a fantabulous career. I wish you all the best, and I'm really sure that you will be able to utilize these steps to make a great planner. If you make a plan and you want me to comment on it, do send it to me on Telegram or write it in the comment section. I'll try my best to answer it personally as well. Thank you.